What do you want to be when you grow up? Our society tends to favor some professions over the others. A driver that drives a doctor to work efficiently, a farmer who toils to feed millions, janitors and cleaners are often used as an example of failure to excel. 94% of engineering graduates are not fit for hiring in IT. Get a degree, get a job, strive for a handsome salary, settle down. What do you want to be when you grow up? Engineer, doctor, or pilot? Many of us have grown up hearing this harmless question time and again, thus being conditioned to view career options within a limited spectrum, one that several generations before us have chosen, and one that we expect the next generations to choose from. The idea is always to go to school, get good grades, and then find a good, high-paying job. Times have changed, and although the education system as a whole is yet to match its pace, the world is witnessing tremendous progress in various other fields than engineering, technology, and medicine. Especially after the pandemic, the world has realized the power of arbitrage economy or freelance economy, giving people a plethora of high-earning options in non-traditional 9-to-5 scenario. More and more job opportunities and career avenues are opening up across the world, giving ample opportunities for students to explore and choose a career that won't just fill their pockets, but their interests and passions too. Despite this, we continue to stay attached to a limited set of professions. The country produces 1.5 million engineers, 1.8 million registered medical graduates, and about 3.6 lakh MBAs pass out each year. Such is our attachment to these professions, with students choosing to opt for a career outside these options are often questioned, judged, and ridiculed. It isn't just our favoritism that's a matter of concern. All that entails with it is often ignored, making this obsession further problematic. Exceptional talent in multiple fields never gets to manifest itself, as lack of knowledge and, more importantly, lack of freedom stems people from ever exploring the possibility of monetizing their unique skills. Dreams die unfulfilled. Here's a look at India's obsession with a limited set of professions and why it's dangerous. Reasons: social conditioning. Our society tends to favor some professions over the others, considering the standard ones such as engineering and medicine as a status symbol. Despite changing times, the favoritism towards these professions have remained the same, continuing to give them an esteemed status socially as compared to other equally important and critical professions such as farming and teaching. As more and more students choose to, or are forced to, follow the same path, several generations end up being conditioned to follow a fixed path, any deviation from which is frowned upon by society. False perception of stability. Most parents making decisions for their children, and sometimes students themselves, tend to choose popular professions for long-term stability. Common misconceptions that unpopular jobs, such as the ones in creative fields or digital media, may not fetch enough money or may not be long-lasting, often make them an unpopular choice. It's also why most youngsters are pushed to work for someone else than for their own selves. However, if stories from recession and cost-cutting incidents or booming startups and artistic billionaires are anything to go by, stability doesn't follow the same rules of the game anymore. And more importantly, the modern economy is an attention economy. One can monetize any skill as long as they know how to do so correctly. Dignity of labor. In an ideal society, every individual would be respected in the same manner, irrespective of the profession they work in. Reality, though, especially in our country, is far from it. While some professions are highly respected, some are looked down upon, eventually leading to a stark difference in how people in these professions are treated. A driver that drives a doctor to work efficiently, ensuring he misses no surgery or appointment, hardly ever receives the respect that the latter does. A farmer who toils to feed millions rarely gets the desired treatment. Janitors and cleaners are often used as an example of failure to excel, instead of being recognized for their efforts. With varying levels of respect for individuals as professionals, some professions end up becoming social favorites. This phenomenon has reached a point where even money doesn't matter anymore. Parents would rather have their children earn less and work more in a typical corporate job with a fancy title than choose a job that pays more but is considered unworthy by society at large. Rat race. Get a degree, get a job, strive for a handsome salary, settle down. These golden rules are so ingrained in our systems that students join the rat race much before they can make up their own minds about what they really want to pursue. IIT trainings and coachings in schools now start from as early as 5th grade, when students are not even old enough to decide their futures for themselves or are aware of the choices that lie ahead. Campus placements pick talent from colleges, getting them to join the rat race even before taking the first step in their career. People spend tremendous money not only to study at these prestigious institutes, but also into coaching centers preparing students for entrance exams. The coaching industry in India is valued at a staggering $50 billion. Lack of awareness. Not many students get the required exposure to all the varied professions they can consider in the future and the path to follow for the same. Career counseling is not very popular in educational institutions, leaving students with a limited imagination for the future. The problem only gets worse when 2 out of 3 people around them work in more commonly known professions, leaving them with little to no guidance and inspiration. In a country like India, where there are over 100 million English speakers and cheap internet, students never take advantage of global economy due to the myopic vision shown by their parents, teachers, and mentors. The impact. Skill gap. With the increasing demand for the same degrees for decades at a stretch, several education institutions have emerged in recent years. However, with more focus being laid on these degrees and less on the skills needed on the job, there is a major percentage of skill gap in industries. Recent findings suggest that 94% of engineering graduates are not fit for hiring in IT. Several companies invest in additional resources to provide full-fledged trainings in the company, since the knowledge that comes from these degrees are often obsolete in nature. Professionals who fail to find a job in seemingly esteemed fields often end up taking other jobs in different fields that they were never associated with earlier, further widening the skill gap in other industries. Unemployment. About 61% of MBA graduates and 80% of engineers find themselves unemployed after graduation. The statistics do not vary much in favor of other popular professions such as law and medicine. No matter how many job opportunities are created every year, there can only be a certain number of jobs as compared to the ever-increasing graduates, making it difficult for several individuals to find employment within the limited fields. When 368 openings for peon post opened up in Uttar Pradesh in 2015, 23 lakh applications were received, out of which more than 2 lakh came from engineering graduates unable to find a job. Underperforming. An employee who chooses a particular field rather than following the herd doesn't just meet the necessary expectations, but goes above and beyond to make a difference. Unfortunately, this isn't the case with the workforce at large, who are conditioned to meet professional checklists. Also, professionals who spill into other fields due to lack of employment opportunities end up underperforming in these fields, having no previous association or education for the same. Financial pressure. Owing to its popularity, several popular degrees require exorbitant amount of fee. With limited government college seats available, students end up opting for private colleges, the fees in which runs into several lakhs per year, which are often paid through loans. The return on these degrees, however, takes much longer, especially when students struggle to find a job. With more resources than jobs available, salaries offered also take a hit, worsening the cycle of financial stress for both professionals as well as their families. Deteriorating confidence and mental health. Everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. These lines by Albert Einstein accurately describe what happens when individuals with different interests and intellectual levels are all forced to fit into one mold. Several millennials deal with anxiety and depression, unable to cope with the robotic nature of professions that they don't relate to. Extreme cases of suicide have also been noted across the country. Among students who cannot cope with the pressures of the course, that may not have been their personal choice in the first place. Lack of resources in other important fields. With the same checkboxes being ticked by majority of population as career choices, several other fields lack necessary resources, creating a ripple effect in the economy. Conclusion. What do you want to become when you grow up? Engineer, doctor, or pilot isn't just a harmless question anymore. It's time we as individuals take a serious look at what our obsession with a few favorite professions is doing, not just to individuals, but the country's progress too. Success cannot be defined by money alone. And if it is, how do you think a job helps in that regard? As long as you trade time for money, which is what a job essentially is, you will never get rich anyways. Just continue the cycle of middle class to middle class as inflation eats away your earnings. It is very important to understand the functioning of the modern economy and adjust to it. There is a lot of money to be made for talented people outside a typical 9 to 5 if only we look, stop, and ponder. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like. Also, subscribe to the channel for similar amazing content. Take care of yourselves and your families. God bless us all. Thank you.